A time. Women of Grace. For such a time as this. Now, here's your host, Johnnette Williams.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Women of Grace. I am Johnnette Williams, happy to be with you. Today, as you know, is Wednesday. That means it's a Wacky Wednesday right here, and we've got Sue Brinkman with us, and we're going to be talking about the weird and the wacky as we continue to make our way through our time together. Inviting you, of course, always to call us, 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. That's the way that you can join us live here on Women of Grace Live, where we do love having that holy conversation with you. Always looking forward to chit-chatting with you Monday through Friday at this same time on this same station as we discuss issues of importance to your life and your faith. That's what Women of Grace Live is all about. We can also receive your questions or comments by simply going out there and using EWTN Radio's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Get out there. You're going to find a chat feature at both of those sites, and you simply put your question or comment in there, your insight, inspiration, or word of encouragement, and we'll get it retrieved and up on the board. Do be sure to tell us who you are and let us know, where you're located. If you're not listening through YouTube or Facebook, well, then tell us how it is that you are listening. We've got Pedro Quiles, who is going to collect those questions left for us out there in social media. But answering the phone, Matthew Gubensky, and he is eager to chat with you, very eager to chat with you, and so are we. Again, it's 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Always inviting you to get out to our website, womenofgrace.com. All kinds of good things are there for you. It gives you an idea of what's happening and where and when. We're looking towards July. I want to tell you right now, we've got other things that are going to be coming up in the meantime, but we're looking forward to being in Malvern, July 24th through the 26th. The 24th begins with a Benedicta Enrichment Seminar. That will run the 24th of July, which is a Thursday, through we generally break around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the Friday, and that is the close of the Benedicta Enrichment Seminar. And then our retreat begins Friday evening, July 25th, and runs through July 26th. We are firming up some details, and I will be eager to let you know who's coming and what our theme is once we just iron out a couple of the little details. It takes a lot to put these events together. Those of you that are out there that do this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are so many moving parts to making, a beautiful, beautiful time flow, logistically as well as with regard to the beautiful content that God wants to entrust to our hearts. So we will let you know all of that as soon as we get things firmed up for you. But do mark your calendar. They're always wonderful. They're always good. We generally sell out of these. Oftentimes, we're very close to selling out. We don't want for you to get closed out. So we invite you to consider coming. We've been doing them at Malvern since, I think, 2006. The COVID years created, an issue. We weren't able to do them, obviously. And I think only one other time we were not there. So when you consider that, that's a whole lot of years there at Malvern. And I know that Malvern looks forward to it every year. And so do we. So do check it out. I do know that Bishop William Walterscheid is going to be with us for sure. He is the auxiliary bishop in the Diocese of Pittsburgh, and we are looking forward to that. He is just such a beautiful spiritual father. That gift of spiritual maternity just flows from him, and he was such a great benefit to all of the women who attended the Benedicta Institute for Women last week. So I know that all of you who are regulars at Malvern are going to enjoy having him with us, and those of you who are newbies, and we love our newbies. Those of you that are newbies, you are going to be thrilled with him. Well, as I was mentioning to you, today is Wacky Wednesday. Sue Brinkman is in the wings. If you get onto our website, you can access all of the writings that she has done, all of the research that she has done through these very many years that she has been on staff with us. She does all of the research for Women of Grace's New Age outreach, this being one of the ways in which we get information out to you, the airwaves through radio, but also through all of the good research that Sue has done and the articles that she's written. Those are all located for you, archived for you in our New Age blog. You can go to newage.womenofgrace.com and access the blog, directly, or you can go to our website, womenofgrace.com, and access it that way. In our library, which you can access at our website, you will find archived there for you podcasts that Sue has done on a variety of the various topics that we talk about. That is all available for you out there at womenofgrace.com. So we are always trying, to give you information that's going to be beneficial for you in your life of faith. Because today, we are presented with so many ideologies. As a matter of fact, we see that there are entire institutions that are dedicated, NGOs, as well as not-for-profit corporations, as well as, various other kinds of agencies that really seek to market ideologies. And ideologies always have a political underpinning to them, and that is what an ideology is. It's a worldview that's attached to a political system that is trying to be forwarded. And so we have to be very aware because the only thing that we want to forward is the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ, right? The only thing that we want to forward is his passion, death, resurrection, and ascension into heaven, right? It's there that our hope lies. It doesn't lie in the machinations of man. It doesn't lie in the various philosophies that he comes up with. It doesn't lie in the various social experiments that many times would like to be hoisted upon an unsuspecting public. I'm thinking about, you don't have to go deep into the history, and I'm not going to name anything today because you can do that for yourself. But, in years gone by, you can look at some of what's been hoisted upon people. You can look at socialism. You can look at Marxism. You can look at the various kinds of radical groups. You can look at Hamas, for example. You can look at all of these various ideological concepts that are politicized and get hoisted upon unsuspecting people. And if we don't know the truth, well, then we have no standard to measure by, right? And all of these things, many of them sound very plausible, very plausible in their rationale until you dig a little deeper, and then you find that they're all specious argument, that there's no logical internal consistency. And you find that it is, in the end, really just a way of trying to gain control over a population of people to advance an agenda, totalitarianism, for example, right? So we have to have the standard by which we measure these things, and that standard is what? The revealed truth of sacred scripture and the teachings of the Catholic Church. One of my pet peeves is when Catholic teaching is used, klepted, we would have said back in school, back at my age, klepted, grabbed by another agency that tries to use that as argumentation for the agenda. Catholic social doctrine has been used in that way. It's been abused in that way. We've seen it time and time again. So we have to know what the church really teaches. And when we do know what the church really teaches, we find that it's absolutely rooted in the revealed truth of sacred scripture. It's rooted in the consistent doctrine of the church. It is not outside of it. It is in the heart of it. So anyway, that's why we do this New Age stuff, because we don't want you to be deceived. 833-288-EWTN, coming back with Sue Brinkman. Stay with us.
The month of February is devoted to honoring the Holy Family. It's a reminder for us to strengthen our own family life. Mary and Joseph serve as the perfect model for every mother and father, and setting an example for children on how to live a Christ-like life. Join in this devotion to the Holy Family with novenas, prayers, art, books, gifts, rosaries and chaplets, statues, and nativity sets. Available at EWTNRC.com.
This is Life Issues with Brad Mattis, president of Life Issues Institute.
We saw it coming. An abortionist in New York has been sued by a Louisiana grand jury for mailing chemical abortion pills into a state where the unborn are protected. A woman who ordered them from Margaret Daly Carpenter then coerced her minor daughter into taking them against her will. They killed the unborn child. Carpenter is also being sued by the Attorney General of Texas for sending the dangerous pills into Texas, where the unborn are also protected. The woman who received the pills suffered hemorrhaging. New York Governor Kathy Hochul defended the abortion outlet and called the drug a life-saving medication. These lawsuits are important test cases. If they prevail, the abortion industry will be sharply curtailed. I'll keep you posted on them.
Follow us on Facebook at Life Issues Institute and stay informed, more informed than you've ever been.
Hi, this is Teresa Tomeo of Catholic Connection.
This is Chris Stefanik from Real Life Catholic.
This is Lisa Popchak from More to Life.
Hi, this is Scott Hahn.
The most trusted Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
It's Wacky Wednesday. What gave it away? That's my question to you. What gave it away? The music, right? If you didn't know it was Wednesday, you know it's Wednesday now. If you are a regular listener here at Women of Grace, you know that every Wednesday is Wacky Wednesday here. So we certainly do invite you to join us. And we do invite you to call us with your questions and comments about the weird and the wacky that you see. Or just if you're wondering, like, okay, so, is this something that the church would say is okay or not? We can help you with that. We certainly can. We've dedicated years and years here at Women of Grace to uncovering some of these things. I can tell you that the first venture was in 1990. 1992 saw a 13-week series on EWTN called The New Age, Satan's Counterfeit. From that, my little book was spawned, The New Age Counterfeit. Then Sue came on board. She continued the research. She had written numbers of articles for the Catholic Standard and Times, which was the newspaper of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. That is still online. Sue's not there because we grabbed Sue, and Sue is with us, and she continues this research. And you would think that in all of these years, what is that now? That's like 30 plus years. 33 years, right? In these 33 years, you would think that this would have faded away, but it hasn't. It's become totally entrenched in the culture. And so it's very easy to get very, very confused. And we don't want you confused. We want the pure, unadulterated faith. We want the pure, unadulterated truth. And that's what we seek to give you here on Women of Grace Live. So if you have questions about anything, don't be shy. Give us a call. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. No question is too silly. No question is too complicated. No question is too simplistic. No question is going to make you look like you don't know what's going on. No, because I want to tell you, it is so easy to be fooled. It is so easy to be swayed. And better to ask the question, lest you find yourself becoming a victim to what I think is one of the biggest traps that Satan has set for us in our day and time. Sue is also the beautiful teacher presenter of the various book studies that we have. And we've got one coming up for you. And you can go to our website, womenofgrace.com. It's there for you. Book study, The Story of a Soul by St. Therese of Lisieux. I'll tell you, if I were to go into a large group of people and I was to say, who is your favorite saint besides Our Lady and St. Joseph, right? Because they're in their own category. Who is your favorite saint? And if I started to throw out names, I can tell you right now that probably 95% of the hands would go up on St. Therese of Lisieux. She has captured the heart of the Catholic population and some outside of the Catholic population for the 2 centuries that she's been a saint. It's probably not quite 2 centuries yet, but ever since we began to know about her, she has captured hearts. And why is that? Well, because her little way is something that we we can all follow. It was her way to sanctity. And she is delightful in every way. And the way in which she teaches us this little way is delightful. Sue's going to be getting into her own autobiography, the autobiography of St. Therese of Lisieux, the story of a soul. That's beginning February the 17th. And you can sign up right on our website. Yes, you can. It's featured for you right there under the list of events. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that it's also featured for you in our slideshow. All of that being said, you click on it and it's going to take you to the landing page where it is that you can sign up. Yep, there it is. Oh, it's so pretty. It's a really pretty slide. You should go out and look at it just because it's so pretty. Anyway, you can sign up. You can register right there on our site. And I hope that you do. We have we've got sort of like a groupie cadre. We've got a group of people that are with us for every study. But I'm going to let Sue tell you a little bit about it because I know she's very enthused over it. Good morning, Sue. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. How about you?
Well, thank you. Let me ask you this question, though. Are you getting the snow up there in Philly that is, really pummeling the Northeast?
Yes, we are getting snow. We only got like a couple inches, and it's that light, fluffy stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so it's not, you could just use a broom for it. You don't even need a shovel. It wasn't that bad. Now, down in the South Jersey, that's where they got it. Sue Jacobson's down there. She's digging out of 8 inches of snow down there.
Oh, good. Sue is one of our regional coordinators, for those of you that not aware of her name. Yeah.
She's down in Millville, and that's, down in South Jersey. And that they've got it mostly down there, D.C., Baltimore. That's really where the storm went. But we're expecting even more tonight and then again on Saturday. This is the time of year, though, up here where it snows every couple of days. That's just the way it is in the Mid-Atlantic. January and February is our snow time. That's why I tell everybody, don't ask me to fly anywhere because I'm not doing it. January and February, all I'll do is sit in the airport. So
it's
don't waste money on me. Yeah, really, it's too iffy.
It is too iffy. We had, at least two that I'm aware of our women, two of our regional coordinators there in North Palm Beach last week, where it was 85 degrees. And Lynn O'Connor, who is our director of growth and expansion, was flying back to Boston. Oh, yeah. And there was another lady there, beautiful woman, Sue, from Boston area. They were flying back to Boston. They were concerned about it. And then Mary Dillenbach, our regional coordinator, who is a liaison to our regionals, just a beautiful, beautiful woman of grace. She lives on the river, St. Lawrence River, and she was flying into Syracuse, and her husband was picking her up, and she asked for prayer because she said, it's just lake effect snow. It was really terrible. So she went like from 85 degrees to lake effect snow. That was threatening, really. So, it amazes me, the fluctuation. And, of course, I understand that the United States of America is so big that we occupy several different kinds of climates. But nonetheless, it is amazing to me that within a couple of hours you can go from, summer temperatures to frigid cold temperatures. It's astounding to me.
Yes, it is. It is. But there's such a beauty in the winter whiteness. I just think it's very enchanting. It's beautiful. And then you see when the sun comes out, the ice on the trees just glimmers. It's very beautiful. Pretty. And I think about Therese, Therese of Lisieux. Of course, I always think about Therese because I love her. But she asked the Lord if she could have snow on her clothing day, and he did it.
Wow.
She had snow.
Wow.
And I always think about that. I think, see, Therese, look, we're getting that snow you love so much because she loves snow. And he did that for her. He gave her a little bit of snow. Yeah. Well, I can't wait for this study. It's going to be so fabulous.
Well, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, there's so much. I've been studying her since my really started in formation in 1994 in Carmel. I've been studying her for at least 30 years now. I read just about every book there is out there very hungrily because I love her spirituality. She's very little. She's little like the rest of us. She didn't like penance. She couldn't stand that. She
fell asleep praying her rosary.
She didn't like the rosary, and she felt so bad about it. And then she would fall asleep after communion. She would fall asleep, Johnnette. After receiving the Lord, she would fall asleep. And she said, boy, I should feel bad about that. But then I tell myself, what parent doesn't love their child as much asleep as when they're awake? This This is only vintage Trez. That only she would think of that. But, when you really read the story of a soul, and so many of us, we say, well, I've had that book on the shelf. I never really read it the whole way through. When you read it the whole way through, from beginning to end, you find out so much more, not just about Trez and Little Way of Spiritual Childhood. You find out a lot about yourself and where you need some help from the Lord, where you might be wounded and things aren't working right for you spiritually. That's where I think the Little Flower really connects with people, is her story, her life story is so beautiful. And then when you get into the last sections of the, manuscript B and manuscript C in the book, and she's starting to teach you about the Little Way of Spiritual Childhood and her own inner spirituality, her own interior life. It was just so beautiful. She just loved God so much in spite of being in total darkness at the end of her life. She just never quit with that confidence in him. And I pray for that all the time, Trez. If I could just I don't even ask for a drop. I ask for large gulps of that confidence, because Trez always wanted everything. She never wanted the little bits, because she said, you should want what God wants for you. And God would want for me to have tremendous confidence in him. So that's what I asked for. I want large gulps of your confidence in God.
One of the things that I think is so endearing about her, and really and truly, this is the way it is with all of the lives of the saints, which is one of the reasons why I really love to write. I really like to read what they have written about themselves and what others have written about them. But when you get a glimpse of their own, autobiographical material, I find it so beneficial, because they were saints in the making. When they walked on this earth, they were saints in the making. They weren't saints yet, right? And hopefully we're all saints in the making, because that's the ultimate call. It's the ultimate desire of God, is that we spend all eternity with him in heaven. So, we should all be saints in the making. And when I read their stories, and Trez is a prime example of this, I feel better about myself, because, when she says, well, just what you relayed to us, what parent doesn't love his child, more when he's sleeping, that's so true. Or she'll say that, I fall asleep praying my rosary, but I know my guardian angel will finish it for me. How oftentimes we heap all of this crazy guilt upon ourselves, and we live in a world of scruples. And I think God looks at us and says, I'm not really concerned about that. That's not my concern. My concern is that you even desire to begin to pray the rosary, that you even desire to receive my son, body, blood, soul, and divinity, in the Blessed Sacrament. So, I think that she helps for us to reapprise the way in which we view ourselves, but also to strive for more, because once you can accept that you're not perfect yet, but you're hoping to be perfect, then we have the gumption to continue to move forward, and we don't allow ourselves to fall underneath an avalanche of self-criticism and negativity.
Exactly right. And she takes all those weaknesses that we get down on ourselves about, and she reminds you that all those weaknesses, what they do is they just entitle you to more help from God. Why? Yep. Because you need more help. You need more, and you get more if you just, be humble about those failings, acknowledge those failings. She even takes it as far as to say to love those failings, as long as you turn to God and say, I know you can help me to get through this. I know that you can help me to do these things that I just can't seem to do for myself. She's very good like that. She really, really teaches you very practical way to approach the Lord, and to love the Lord, and to keep your focus just on that, on loving him. And so many other things just fall into place. They just fall into place.
Yeah, well, she's lovely. Well, this book study is going to be wonderful. And again, friends, I do want to invite you to join Sue and all of those who have already signed up for it. Lots of people have signed up for it already. You can count yourself among them. All you need to do is to get out to our website, womenofgrace.com. As I say, it is there for you in the slideshow. It's also listed for you in the upcoming events. When you click on either of those places where we talk about it, you'll come to a landing page. It will describe everything to you. It will give you all of the ins and the outs. It'll tell you that it starts on Monday evening, February the 17th, that it's going to have online instruction and discussion. Our ladies love to talk. Gentlemen, you're welcome to come too, especially, if you don't mind being, in a Zoom room full of women. But the fact of the matter is, the ladies like to talk. Their study questions. You can purchase the books right there at our website, and you'll find out all of the nitty gritty, and you can register right there. So we're encouraging you. If you love St. Therese, or you're really listening and you're saying, I don't know that much about her, I think I probably should sign up for this. Don't hesitate. Please do. We would love for you to do that.
Now, we have fun, Johnnette. It's only an hour on Monday nights that we meet, but we have fun. We talk about it. We stay on the discussion. We don't wander off into other things. We talk about the book. Yes. So what we share, it helps you to understand the book and comprehend the book even better, because the Holy Spirit works through all of us. But if you don't want to say anything, that's fine too. Yeah. You don't even have to have your camera on. If you want to come in your pajamas with, curlers in your hair, remember curlers? If you want to do that.
Oh dear.
If you still have curlers, and you want to that, just keep your camera off. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's very casual. But like you said, we do like to talk, and we talk about the subject at hand. We do that. We don't roam off into other things, and we just have fun. We laugh. And it's only an hour, and we're strict about that. We start at 7:30. We end at 8:30. You get study questions, so you are guided in what it is you're supposed to be reading and what you need to comprehend from that reading. So come as you are and just join us. And if you want to, like I said, stay in the background, that's great. If you can't make it every week, don't worry about that. You get a recording. If you're a registered member, you'll get a recording. So you can access that and catch up if you have to miss a few Monday nights. So hopefully we'll see you.
Yeah, and we do archive these. We do have the book studies out there at our website in our library area. Well, I've got a question for you. I'd like us to get an answer to this question, Sue, before we go to our break and come back and talk about our topic of the day. And we've talked our way through the first half of the show, which is not at all unusual for the two of us. But this is Gemma. She's out there on YouTube. She wants to know when your next book in the series, Lioness Lost, will be released. She said, it's such a great read and have finished the first, anxiously waiting. And I'll tell you, folks, if you haven't read Lioness Lost yet, written by Sue Brinkman, you're going to want to, because it is a page turner. You cannot put it down. You cannot put it down. I mean, I think I read it in one sitting. You just cannot put it down. And if you put it down, you're thinking about it a lot. So we invite you to get a copy of that. It's out there, accessible for you in various places. If we don't have it in our bookstore right now on our website, I got to check that. We will have it, and we will have it there. But it is available for you out there, through booksellers. I know Barnes & Noble has it, and I know that Amazon, of course, has it. So, Sue, when is the next one coming out?
It's in the pipeline. I am waiting for the launch date. I am waiting right now with bated breath for the launch date of that. It's in the pipeline. It's all done. It's all ready. I'm just waiting for that launch date, and it should be very soon, very soon.
Good.
The next one's coming out.
So the best we can do for you, Gemma, is very soon. We will let you know here. We will let you know here on Women of Grace Live when that book is available for you. And I, too, Gemma, am anxiously waiting. So there you have it. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986 is the way that you can join us live here today. Sue Brinkman with us. It's Wednesday. It's a Wacky Wednesday. We talk about the weird and the wacky. You can also leave a question for us like Gemma did out there on EWTN Radio's YouTube channel or Facebook page. We'll get it retrieved and up on the board. Our dear Pedro Quiles is the one who does the collecting. Matthew Gubensky is the call screener extraordinaire who answers your calls and gets everything up on the board for us so we can chit-chat together. You hear that music. We're going to a break. When we come back, more with Sue Brinkman. We're looking forward to your phone calls. Yes, we are. We're going to be talking about, are you ready? Are you sitting down? Love spells. A very good thing to talk about because, I got to say, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Gentlemen, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Did you hear what I said? It's right around the corner. Just saying for all of you gentlemen out there, and ladies too, remember your sweetie with a little something, right? You want to do that. All of that being said, 833-288-EWTN is the way that you can join us today. Coming right back. Stay with us. It's Women of Grace Live. I'm Johnnette Williams. Sue Brinkman is, as they say, in the house. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Father Mike Schmitz. Please join me for Ascension's Bible in a Year and Catechism in a Year here on EWTN Radio. We're going through the entire Bible and the Catechism in 365 days. If you've ever wanted to understand what it means to be Catholic and allow those truths to shape your life, this is for you.
Bible in a Year and Catechism in a Year with Father Mike Schmitz, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on EWTN Radio.
I woke up early the other day, grabbed my coffee, and decided to watch a daily show that I usually miss, the sunrise. My yard was eerie. It looked like it was covered in a dark, murky fog. Then I saw a coyote. The sunrise has this moment that's like a switch. As it turned a corner somewhere, light flooded my yard. Turns out there was no fog, just a little mist, and that coyote was a small bush. It was a clear, beautiful morning with birds singing. They call the sunrise daybreak for a reason. Everything looks different instantly. The resurrection was like that. Jesus' followers went from living under the fog of the worst event imaginable to being swept off their feet by the best news in history instantly. St. Paul, reflecting on his life, said that if Jesus had not risen, he'd be the most pathetic of men. He saw his whole life in light of the best news in history. This is Chris Stefanik from reallifecatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
Journey deeper in your understanding of the Eucharistic mystery and the Eucharistic story of God's love for us. Download the free ebook, The 12 Stations of the Most Holy Eucharist, at EWTN.com/Catholicism.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders. Do you have questions about the Catholic faith? Get the answers on Call to Communion, coming up this afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Women of Grace with Johnnette Williams.
Join in on the conversation. The Women of Grace phone lines are open. 1-833-288-EWTN. 1-833-288-3986.
Well, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Women of Grace Live. I'm Johnnette Williams. So very happy to be with you today on this Wednesday in the Lord. Hey, Sue Brinkman is here. You know why? Because on Wednesdays, it's Wacky Wednesday. We talk about the weird. We talk about the wacky. We talk about all the crazy stuff that's going on in the culture of the day. And let me tell you, it is riddled with crazy stuff. And we never run out of material for this show. I wish we did, because it would mean that we were all acting sanely, but we don't, because we're not acting sanely. And some of the ideologies that are out there are really, really frustrating. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. That's how you can ask us a question today, and we invite you to do that. That's a toll-free number for you here in North America. We also are available for you at EWTN Radio's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Just get out there and use the chat feature. Pedro will collect your question there. Matthew will answer your phone call. Do want to let you know that you can text us. Text the letters EWTN to 58177. Wait for our response. Put your question in there. Tell us who you are, where you are, and how you're listening. And we will get that question up on the board, and we'll be able to address it. So, Sue, I let everybody know, as you heard prior to going to the break, that we were going to be talking about love spells. And, this is, some of these are bizarro.
They all are. I mean, I had to pick which ones will fit into the blog. I didn't want it to be too long. But, the instinct for love is just primordial in man. I mean, this is just what we want. We
were made for love.
Yes, we were made for love. Absolutely we were. And people in their quest for love are often really driven to very extreme measures in order to get this love. And that includes occult powers. And you wouldn't believe all the love potions that are out there on the internet right now for people to try to get their love. One of them is, it's a little magic tactic that you use. First, you smudge. They're very much into smudging, which is, burning sage. And they believe it changes the energy in your environment. It chases out negative energy, brings in positive. There's absolutely nothing to that. It's just smoke. But anyway, you make a list of everything that you're afraid of that's connected to love. Then you rub the list all over yourself to put your energy into it. Next,
you rub the list all over yourself?
Yeah, you rub the list on yourself. And then you blow 3 times on the paper. And that allegedly releases your fear onto the paper. And then you burn the paper and flush the ashes down the toilet. And that's supposedly going to, I guess, open things up so that you won't be afraid anymore and you'll attract love to yourself. I think, oh, my heavens. With my luck, I'd burn the house down. But really, there's ritual baths. This is a big one, taking baths. And this is considered
to be... Well, I can say that there is a certain sense in that, right?
That's true. You should take a nice bath.
We should take a bath. We are not against bathing.
Trust me, this is not the kind of bath they're talking about here. This bath is, and this thing quotes now, this is a way for you to put yourself in alignment with your goal of transforming your aura with herb, flower, and root allies, whatever that means. That's what that bath is all about. So what you want to do is you soak in a tub for 25 minutes or longer while visualizing yourself in a happy relationship. And it says to magnetize your aura for love. Use things that correspond with Venus, like sweet and sexy smelling oils like jasmine and red or pink rose petals, and sensual herbs and rose water and so on. And you should take that bath at least once a month for maintenance, but you must do it 3 days in a row. You know, there's all these like little strict little standards for everything. But the one that really, really made me laugh is this site encourages people to resort to love spells, but reminds them that putting spells on someone should always be done with the highest ethical standards in mind.
Wait a second. You're trying to impose your will on somebody else, right? You're trying to make them do what you want them to do, but you should use high ethical standards.
I know. I laugh my head about that. Are you kidding me? And they go to this. They make this big explanation. No, you don't want to dominate somebody's will. You want to focus on spells that enhance your attractiveness and confidence, not by dressing nice or getting your hair fixed real good or putting your makeup on. Nothing like that. It's about your energy and using your energy to make yourself more appealing to draw this person into you, which is, again, a spell. It's resorting to the occult. They call it the crush spell on that one. And you have to like hold a piece of rose quartz in your hand because it's a love charm. And then you hold it every morning and envision your crush noticing you. And then you whisper to the universe, let our paths cross with joy and mutual respect if it's meant to be. Think, okay, dear. Some are not that careful about tampering with free will. This is one. It's a ribbon, and you tie together something, a pair of something. It could be a pair of candles or a pair of gloves, something that you're emotionally attached to. And then you tie these two together, and one represents you and one represents your love interest. And then you say invocations. You say, as I tie these gloves together, may my dream lover come close to me. And every night you move the objects closer and closer while reciting that invocation. And once they're touching, then you leave them sit for a week. And voila, your love is yours. At least that's what they tell you anyway. I don't know that.
I'll tell you, first of all, these are relatively desperate actions. And well, so, you have to figure, if somebody's resorting to these methods, then they're in a, they've got to be in a desperate and a depressed emotional state. And then you're telling them to do this and you're guaranteeing them certainty. And then what happens when this when it doesn't work? I mean, what happens when, on the other side of this thing, they're left flat? Then that is even worse, because now not only do they feel rejected from, a potential suitor, but they feel rejected by the entire universe. I mean, this has got to be emotionally crushing, now there's nothing the matter with praying and asking the Lord, if it be your holy will, that, I end up in a relationship and walk down the aisle someday, then help me, make that way smooth for me, right? There's nothing with praying for that, praying even, asking for the intercession of some of the saints for that. But when you start to use these things in a way that is superstitious, which is what this is, then you enter into trouble. And I know that a lot of our saints have been co-opted, and you were telling me about, was it St. Agnes?
St. Agnes was. I wrote an article about this a couple years ago now, that there's a superstition surrounding her, that you perform a series of rituals on the eve of her feast day if you're looking for love and you don't know, you haven't met the person yet. And these rituals include things like walking backward up a flight of stairs or transferring pins from one pin cushion to another before you retire. And if you do that, you will see your future husband in a dream that night. So, I mean, Catholics put superstition. They can use our faith. We can use it in superstitious ways.
Oh, yes.
Some people do. Some people do that. Now, there are superstitions about love and attracting love all over the world, Johnnette. I mean, I found an article and I linked to it in there because it's actually very entertaining to read it. A lot of it starts on New Year's Eve. People start getting prepared for Valentine's Day on New Year's Eve in some countries. In Latin American countries, there's a superstition that if you wear red underwear on New Year's Eve, you're going to attract love and romance into your life.
Oh, dear.
Now, what? Red underwear? I never even saw red underwear in a store. I mean, but whatever. Colombia, people think that if you walk around the block with an empty suitcase on New Year's Eve, that you're going to attract travel opportunities that will lead you to your love.
Now, just think about this for a moment. If you're walking around the streets with an empty suitcase, you know, you're going to stand out, right? And if this is a known custom in that country, then that can lead to some unsavory advances by someone you don't want to have, you know, near you.
True.
Right? You know, I mean, like, you know, you gotta think these things through. Huh?
I didn't think of that, but you're right. It's like, look at her. She's walking around with an empty suitcase.
You could have predators out there. You could have predators out there looking for women walking around with a suitcase. You know, this stuff does not make any sense. I mean, it's just totally nonsensical. Tell us a little bit, because, you know, one of the things that you repeated a couple of times in some of the different superstitious actions had to do with energy. And this is a main component. This is like a major tenet of New Age philosophy, the energy, the power of the universe. Here we're talking about a power outside of the power of God. You know, God's power is universal, but it's God who has, you know, omnipotence, right? But here we're talking about God's creation, the universe, having this capacity to make things happen.
It's a universal life force, is what they believe it is. And in fact, in the Vatican document, Jesus Christ, the bearer of the water of life, they call that energy, this putative energy that they rely on for everything, they call it the New Age God, because that's exactly what it is.
Right.
They're resorting to that God. It's a putative form of energy. It's never been substantiated as even existing. So anything that has chi, ki, prana, universal life force, vital force, any of that, any kind of product you have, any kind of practice you're into. I'm talking about acupuncture and yoga and all these different things that are talking about your energy and your aura and that sort of thing are all nothing. They're meaningless because the underlying premise is false. Right. There is no energy for this. There is no energy at all. And this is what they're talking about here, like with smudging. And you burn this smoke, you burn the sage, and that supposedly gets rid of all the negative energy that's there. You have negative and positive of this chi and ki and that. So this is a very big component of the New Age, and it's one of the first red flags that I look for when I'm researching stuff. Does it have any mention of this putative form of energy? And we're not talking about veritable energy, which we know about. We know that there's electrical energy in our bodies. We know it's monochromatic radiation, magnetism, vibration from sound, and that. We know that form of energy. We harness that in CAT scans and MRIs. We know about that. But that's not what they're referring to here. They're referring to that putative form of energy that supposedly inhabits the universe. And there's a vibration with it. And if you tune into the vibration, you're going to be able to attract to yourself whatever it is you want. You know, that's the secret. And the law of attraction is all based on this putative form of energy that supposedly lives in the universe. And it doesn't. It doesn't. And physics is one of the most advanced sciences, and it cannot find any hint of this. And they've been looking for this energy since the time of Sir Isaac Newton, and they can't find it. It's just not there. It simply is not there.
A332. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to give the number there, Sue. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986 is the way that you can join us today on this Wacky Wednesday. Sue Brinkman with us, talking about love spells and all kinds of other things as we move forward in our program. So go ahead, Sue. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, and it's so you got to be very, very careful about that. As soon as you see that energy in there, the red flag should go up.
Yeah.
Because now you know that it's not something that a Christian should be involved in, because this energy force is something that they look upon as a god. Mm-hmm. This is their god. This is who they turn to for healing, for their future, for their possessions, for abundance and peace. And all that. This is who they turn to. What they turn to. They turn to this energy force. And you just have to be really careful. And when you look at some of these sites, and I really, my heart goes out to these young girls, because Teen Vogue is very much promotes this kind of stuff, this energy, auras, and the power of one of their articles that I looked up for this particular blog that I wrote on is the power of love magic is what they're talking about. And they give you a little spell that you should work. But here's the author gives the following warning. She says, sometimes spells don't work because we desire people for the wrong reason. Simply put, you can't make a person fall in love with you. As stated above, the feelings in the relationship must be mutual. If they are not, then the magic will fall flat. So that begs the question. If the person's already interested in you, why do you need a love potion? What do you need that for? He already likes you. Why don't you just go by the standard? Read, look at this when you go to these different sites and you see this, and I'm telling you, they present it as being so, everybody's doing this. This is the way to do it. You're going to attract the person you love. And I say, and it's something I was talking with you about in one of the breaks, Johnnette, is why not turn to the author of love himself, Jesus Christ? And I think all the saints who exemplify that very selfless love that he came to teach us. Like St. Valentine's, I think, is the perfect example. Now, there's a lot of unconfirmed legends about this martyr. He was, however, a martyr. But some of the legends are that he would secretly marry couples so that husbands wouldn't have to go to war. There's a story about how he healed, on the day of his execution, he healed a blind daughter of a pagan jailer and left her a note that signed, "Your Valentine." We don't know about any of that stuff is true. There's really not a whole lot of proof of it. But I think the greatest testimony of how worthy this saint is of our trust when it comes to matter of the heart was his willingness to die for Jesus. Mm-hmm. Willingness to sacrifice his life for the Lord of love.
Yeah.
So, that's really where you need to turn. Yeah. To where there's authentic love, not love that you have to coerce people into or manipulate people in order to get this love from them. It's, go to the author of authentic love. And a love that's going to be willing to sacrifice and suffer for you when necessary, and not leave you when things get rough. But they're going to stick around. Like, writing your intentions on a piece of paper, rubbing them all over your body, and then burning them and flushing the ashes in the toilet. That's not the way to find real love. This is not how you're going to find somebody who truly loves you.
Well, the interesting thing to me is that, with all of these new age thoughts and practices and techniques, people will invest a whole lot of time, oftentimes a whole lot of money. They have no problem, really investing themselves in this endeavor. And the fact of the matter is, if you invested that same amount of time into prayer, you would be more peaceful. You would be more rational. You would be happier. You would find joy, But what the New Age offers people is a certain type of certitude that you're going to get what you want. It is most of the time sands of morality. Even the nod towards ethics would have a convoluted definition for what ethics is, I would think, in light of all of that. There's no morality. There's nothing that's really required of you that leads to what true sanctity is about. So it's an easy way, or at least people think it is, an easy way to attain that which you want. And so what is all that about? Well, that's about greed. That's avaricious, right? It's about pride. Mm-hmm. You're going to find the capital sins tucked into all that. In many cases, this whole notion of love is, really, it's a question of lack of modesty. It's a question of lack of purity, right?
Yes, it is.
So, lust. So you're going to find the capital sins tucked in if you really examine this down to its root level, because as you have said so often, Sue, it's all demonic. It's all meant to take you away from the Lord and get you, tied up with the powers of darkness.
They're just so infatuated with magic, with anything magical. Last week I had written a blog about the New Age version of a girl's night out. And this is a bunch of Hollywood, people, Meghan Markle, Jessica Alba, Kerry Washington. They were having a birthday party for Kerry Washington, and they call it Happy Born Day to my girl, Kerry Washington. And this is the description of what they're doing there. It says, "There's nothing like that fill your cup type of girl's night." This is Alba wrote this to Carrie. She said, "Under the energy of the new moon in Aquarius, we come together for a beautiful ceremony led by Jill, founder of Spirit Daughter. New moons are a time for fresh starts, setting intentions, and calling in new possibilities. And this night was just that. We connected, manifested, released what no longer serves us, and tapped into our power and highest vibration." So they're all into all this astrology. There's pictures of them out on the internet. You can go see them, of them sitting around a table with crystals lined up sort of like in a circular pattern, and they were sitting there manifesting their intentions, and that they're all, visualizing things, all New Age and occult, because they were trying to tap into the third eye, which is their psychic power, and this is, unfortunately, young girls look up to these women that are in Hollywood and they see them behaving like this, and it made a big splash out there on the and that's why I posted this, because it was all over social media. I thought, at least tell their moms what this stuff is all about and why you don't want to tap into your third eye and think that you could just visualize your intentions and make things come true, because like you were saying earlier, Johnnette, you're just going to set yourself up for a lot of heartache when it doesn't happen.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. It's
well,
really,
and then of course you're opening yourself up to powers and principalities, right? And Satan is, he can move things around on a chessboard. So there can be, situations and circumstances that develop that you think this is the right way to go. You've been praying for this and somebody shows up, and you automatically think that this is the right person, and it's not. I mean, this is not the way that you go about living a life. It just isn't. And in the end, it's not going to bring you any satisfaction, and because it's all dependent upon you. And if you notice just about everything that you said there, Sue, if it doesn't work out, it's your fault. If it doesn't happen, it's your fault. You did something wrong. You didn't smudge properly, or you weren't thinking. You really wanted this for yourself. Well, anybody that's doing that stuff is wanting it for themselves. I mean, it's just like, hello. So it ends up being your fault.
Exactly.
You didn't do it exactly as the prescription required. You did it for 4 nights instead of 5 nights. You didn't walk carefully backwards up the steps. I mean, I don't know.
And they're like that. They're very legalistic when it comes to the occult. The people say this about the church. Oh, the church has too many rules and regulations. Hey, guess what? The devil has so many of them, and they're all ludicrous types of things. And you have to do it exactly right, or you got to start all over again.
That's exactly.
There's no mercy there with him. No mercy with him.
Yeah.
But even this founder of the Spirit Daughter who was at this party, she says that it's a lifestyle brand, this Spirit Daughter thing. And it says to live your best life through understanding the energy of the universe. So I guess if you don't really understand the energy of the universe, you're not going to live your best life. This is kind of what she's saying here. And it's unfortunately very popular. It's very, very popular out there, especially all this manifesting and visualizing your intentions and, making wish boards and different things like that to be able to make things happen just by your own power. It's like God is pushed so far in the background, so far in the background.
Well, this is why we promote, the one who is the way, the truth, and the life, our Lord Jesus Christ. This is why we promote sacred scripture and the teachings of the church. We want to stay on that narrow path that leads to life on high in Christ Jesus, because that is where we find our peace, our contentment. That is where we discover what true love is all about. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that everyone who believed in him might not perish but have everlasting life. So thanks, as always, for the very, very good information that you bring to us. Thank you for helping us discern the truth from the falsehood. We look forward to being back with you again next week. Friends, we do encourage you to get out there, sign up for the book study on the autobiography of St. Therese of Lisieux, The Story of a Soul. WomenofGrace.com. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
The most original and exclusive Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
This is Dr. Ray Guarendi from The Doctor Is In. You call in and we will talk about what matters to you in your life.